Hi, Rainy Bastoresh here, and today's lesson is on how to eliminate fear now with the cartoon or the sports technique that I'm going to show you both of them. Now, what kind of fear am I talking about? Fear of the boss, fear of bullies, fear of your ex-spouse. Okay, that's one of the bigger ones. Children, meetings, public speaking, etc. But we're going to talk about fear of the ex-spouse, because that's something that I get a lot in counseling. People coming up, divorced couples who have to pick up and drop off children, and there's so much anxiety. So I'll use this as an example, but you'll see how this can work with virtually anything. So here's how it works. Now, how many of you have seen the movie The Waterboy with Adam Sandler? Okay, if you haven't seen it, it's a great movie to look at. But in the movie, there's a scene where Henry Winkler, who's actually the coach of a football team and a friend of Adam Sandler, and Henry is very afraid, deathly afraid of the coach on the other side. And he can't face him. He gets really nervous and really shaky and messes up all his plays, and of course it affects his team. So he speaks to Adam in the movie. Of course, that's not, Adam's name isn't Adam, but he speaks to Adam in the movie saying, I'm so afraid. He says, I can't deal with the coach. I can't even look him straight in the eyes because of this and that. And what Adam told him, he says, from now on, whenever you look at him, when you see him on the other side of the field, imagine him with a baby's head, a baby's face on there. I actually told him to imagine him as something that was very unintimidating. And so Henry looked at him. He saw this big baby's head. So it was a coach with a head, like an oversized baby's face, real cute face. And eventually the coach is going, Gucci, Gucci, goo, as he's looking at this person that he's normally scared of. And he got this newfound confidence and was able to coach his game to victory. So that's in a nutshell what we're going to be doing. But we're going to be using cartoons. What I want you to do is think about the scene that causes you fear. So let's say it's a husband going to pick up his kid for the weekend. So he tells me, well, the situation is I usually pull into the driveway and she comes walking out with my daughter and my son, and comes walking up to the car, and she comes out screaming and yelling at me before I even get out of the car for all these different things. She wants money. She wants this. I better get him here in time. You better get him a bath before they, and on and on and on of all the different things that he has to do, and he hasn't even gotten out of his car. So, and you can see, the person's sweating. He's getting upset as he's talking to me. So what I tell him is, okay, I want you to think of that scenario, and I want you to replace the characters, you, the children, your ex-wife, whoever it is, with your favorite cartoon characters. And I want you to recite the same situation or scenario that you told me. Recite it to me again, but as if they're all cartoon characters. So he says, okay, I pull into the driveway with my little Acme mobile, with the little crank wind up on the back. He says, and it stopped, and you hear all the boom, 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 all the backfires and explosions, and the car stops. And no sooner than I stop, the door flings open of the house, and out comes a Tasmanian devil, spinning and spinning and yelling and swearing, and it stops, and all these fumes coming out of her mouth as she's talking. And so he's saying that, and I walk up to her, and I take the Acme TNT. You ever seen it says Acme? Put it in her mouth, boom, and you see a little smoke coming out of her ears. But it doesn't hurt her, because in cartoons, no one ever gets hurt, right? And he takes the kids away, and he drives off into the sunset, and it's a wonderful situation. Now, as he's explaining all this to me, you look at his face, and he's kind of laughing, he's kind of chuckling, and you see the wrinkles coming out of his face from the stress and the tension, and you see him relaxing and just kind of sitting back. Now, what did he do? He reframed the situation. He changed it from something that caused a lot of stress to something that was actually funny, to something that he's used to seeing with his kids on Saturday morning, cartoons. So now every time he comes back to the situation, when he goes to pick up the kids the next weekend or drop them off, and she comes flying out of the house, he's not going to be scared and intimidated like he was. He's probably going to be smiling and laughing because he sees the Tasmanian devil coming out, because he sees the little Acme car with the wind up in the back of the thing, in the back on the trunk. So everything looks differently. So that's the cartoon method. Just take the situation and just retell the situation, reframe it as if it was your favorite cartoon. Use your imagination and try to see it as much as you can as you're doing it. Now, you might not be into cartoons. So the other technique we said is the sports technique. So imagine you're a sportscaster, and you and the person you're having difficulty with, or the person that's causing you the fear, whether it be your ex-spouse or your boss or some bully or public speaking, whatever the situation is, okay, it's two teams, two sports teams. It could be football, it could be soccer, it could be baseball. So for this situation, let's say it's American football. So the team comes on the field, your team and their team. Now what you're doing is you're giving a play-by-play of what's happening as if you're the newscaster or the sportscaster on the radio. If any of you have ever seen Howard Cosell talking about a sports game, he has that accent like this. And he says, here he comes on the field, and she's screaming and yelling at him. And there he is trembling at the 1 yard mark. And he comes up 1 more yard, and she starts chasing him. He's got the ball, and he's running, and he runs. Touchdown! You can make it like that if you want. But as you're doing it, you're reframing it again. You're taking something very stressful and putting it into something that you like. Football, baseball, and you're making it something that's not stressful. You might even win the game, which would be a big plus. So go ahead and reframe your situation with sports, with cartoons, or you could even do it with anything else you like. And when you go back to the situation, you're going to see how much of the stress, much of the fear has been alleviated. So give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.